Hey guys, what's up? It's Record. This is the official beatbox tutorial for Radio by the Wise Guys. It's a great song by a German a cappella band that has existed for a while. They split up in 2017. This song is from their 2011 album called Zwei Welten, which basically means two worlds. The concept of this album is really cool. It's one of my favorite albums, I would say still. Kind of the idea was to create a cappella songs and then those same songs with instruments behind them. So the listeners could actually hear what the band hears with the instruments when they're doing the a cappella, like what they're hearing in terms of mimicking the instruments, which I always thought was really interesting. So there's actually a drum version I did of the song too, which I'll release the tutorial for later at a later date. But this is the original, which is beatboxing. There is a drum version of the song out there that I made, and there's also a drum version out there to the original. So the original song exists with beatboxing as well as with drumming, and there's two different versions. So you can switch back and forth when you listen to the song, which is really cool. So without further ado, let's get into it. It's a really straightforward beat, and I'm going to break it down with the syllabic content, and then I will talk about kind of how to play this record live. Bum te kate, bum bum ka bum bum te kate te bum kate, bum te kate, bum bum ka bum bum te kate te bum ka. So again, that's bum te kate, bum bum ka bum bum te kate te bum kate bum. Okay, so the concept for this groove, it's the money beat idea. The money beat is your four on the floor concept. It's kind of the most standard rock rhythm in drumming. So what you're only using for this record is your kick, hi-hat, and your snare. So in that way, it's similar to, if you guys saw my tutorial for How to Save a Life, it's a similar kind of a conceptual idea. Your entire groove is kind of oriented around that concept. So now let's break it down into the two different parts of the groove, and then this concludes this tutorial. Okay, so your first half of the groove is your really standard money beat concept. That's going to be kick, hi-hat, and snare. Bum, tse, ka, tse, bum, bum, ka, tse. Again, that's bum, tse, ka, tse, bum, bum, ka, tse. So a really easy way to translate that is the boots and cats method, which a lot of people kind of use as a spoof to describe VPing as a concept. But it actually works really well as a descriptive tool. So basically what you're doing there is your boots is your kick, your cats is your rim. I've talked about this before in previous videos. So essentially, if you have that concept, it's boots and cats and boots and cats and. It's the same concept, and you're just adding a second kick. So once again, that's boots and cats and boots, boots, cats and. If I'm going to use that analogy, boots and cats and boots, boots, cats and. Go back to what I said, you could do boom, tse, katse, boom, boom, katse. So your boom is your kick, your tse is your hi-hat, and your ka is your rim. Once again, that's boom, tse, katse, boom, boom, katse. And your ka could be your rim or your snare, doesn't matter. Boom, tse, katse, boom, boom, katse. That's your first part of radio. So your second part of audio is going to be bum bum tse katse bum bum katse. Again, that's bum bum tse katse bum bum katse. Another alternate is bum tse katse tse bum katse. Same concept. You're starting on those kicks. Bum tse katse bum bum katse. So now let's bring it all together. Once again, the full groove is bum tse katse bum bum ka bum bum tse katse tse bum katse. That idea. So in terms of actually applying it, once again, you have your syllabic content. You really need to understand how to use the syllabic content and then how to do your beatbox sounds. And you're kind of switching back and forth between those concepts. The easiest thing to do is to take your dial to switch back and forth in your mouth and really just kind of gradually close your mouth on that sound. So once again, I'm just going to show you part 1 of the groove, really simple as kind of an example. And while I'm doing any of these tutorials, as always, please feel free to pause in places if you need assistance and try it yourself and try your own sounds. Try to come up with your method. As long as you're thinking about creating that syllabic content, so those syllables that will then translate into your beatbox sounds, that is a good start. And then from there, you can build your own voice and really build your own version of these sounds. I'm just kind of giving you one specific guide that could help, but that's a really good way to apply it. So once again, let's go back and forth with the dial. So starting with beatbox sounds to syllabic content, and I'm just going to go with part 1 just to simplify. And then this concludes this tutorial. Once again, please go back and forth, and any questions are welcome down below. So this is Radio by The Wise Guys. And there's also a full version below this video. Thank you. Bumse Katze, bum bum Katze, bumse Katze, bum bum Katze, bumse Katze, bum bum Katze, bumse Katze, bum bum Katze. One more time. Bumse Katze, bum bum Katze, bumse Katze, bum bum Katze, bumse Katze.